Love your neighbor like yourself. What means to love your neighbor and love yourself? I don't want to criticize too hard and every time, our age. But if I want to discover what means to love myself, but not an egoistic mode, and I look for good things in my life, how is possible to discover every time on social media or internet, or a lot of times I heard about alcohol, drugs? How is possible to accept to destroy myself, to destroy my life with bad things, with bad things in my life? I think it's important to discover how it's possible to love myself if I trust in God and I believe in God. Everywhere I heard about different things about body. There are a lot of people that don't accept themselves. How is possible to not accept my body, to not accept my life? This is bad thing. This is bad things. If I love myself, I accept myself. I try to understand my life. I try to pray to God to gives me power for change my life. If I love myself, how is possible to make choice but bad choice? Because if I try to discover how means to be a good choice in my life, that means to put in order with the law of God in my life. I try to think, how is possible to love yourself if you have a family and you destroy your family? How is possible to love yourself and have your husband, your friend, but you don't live in a good way with your partner, with your husband, and your wife, in your family? How is possible to love yourself if you are in a job and you work so hard at your job, but you just hate your neighbor, your colleagues? You don't love your colleagues, and in this way your work is becomes so stressful. If I don't love my colleagues, if I don't love my work, that means I am every time full of stress. My life is stressful. This is not means I love me. Love me. Because if I try to follow the word and law of Jesus Christ, I try to understand what it means to forgive my colleagues, my neighbors, my partners, my colleagues, my students, all things, all bad things and I can I try to understand what means to be in bad situation, to be in a bad mood, to be in loneliness or suffer. We are connection all together, and if I don't love myself, I cannot love another person. If I cannot accept my life and my body and my level, and I don't have this humility in front of God, I cannot accept me. And if I don't accept me, I cannot accept another people, another person. How is possible to be in accord with myself? Only if I'm alone. Because I discover a lot of my weakness, and I cannot to solve this suffer, these bad things in my soul. If I am in a bad mood, I can pray. I can accept me. I can pray to God to help me. And God really helps us. If I try to discover what is good way for me. Because if I pray and if I trust in God, God helps me because He sent me good ideas and good situations, good events. And my life, step by step, little by little, changes in a good way. Because every time it's important to pay attention of myself. And if I learn and if I can to change my life and take care my life, I can understand this good way, and I can understand a good way for my neighbor. But it's not so easy to love yourself and to love God, to love our time, because it's very important to love our time. And it's not easy to love our time. And in this time, it's not easy to love your neighbor, because it is not free. To love another person, that means to pray and think and spend little time for this. It's not easy to try to understand your colleague, and if I can understand my colleagues, I can forgive them all, because I try to be in peace with myself, because my priority is to be in a good mood with God, and in this way I can make and do peace around me, with my friends, with my colleagues, with my students. That means to hard work, because it's hard but beautiful to hard work for ideas, for job, for grow up in all I do. But it's very important to have a force in myself without stress, only with a big power in me, in my mind, in my body, for to do a good things in the name of God, follow the Jesus Christ and love myself, and in this way to try to understand how it's possible to love my neighbor, my colleagues, my people around me. And in this way, the saints are a good example for me because they tried to save of themselves. A saint just is a winner because a saint just save himself first, and because a saint is saved himself, in this way these saints can save another people and a lot of people. And in this way I can understand what means to love me, because I love God, because God created me, is my creator, is creator of my neighbor, and it's so beautiful to try to understand my neighbor, to understand myself, to understand my sister and brothers, and in this way to make peace around me. Jesus Christ says, love your neighbor like yourself, is a strong axiom. It's so beautiful, and in the same time, is so hard, but is beautiful, and this axiom ought to be followed. God bless you. God bless us. Love yourself.